Hello, everybody, and welcome along to Shades of Reality. I'm Michelle, and today we are coming to you live, unedited, absolutely raw dogging it all the way through Zoom with Anne, Daniela, David, and Jim. Today we're talking about food, and it's such an interesting topic because before we've actually hit the press live and record button, we've been wondering what is it that we would talk about with food. And I think the best way to go here is our relationships with food and what type of relationship you have with food. For me, I know that it's been a little bit of a roller coaster. There's been times when I've eaten loads and went up and down the scales and absolutely beaten myself up about my weight and whatever else. And then there's other times where I've been trying to juggle and compromise and whatever else. But everybody on this call has something to say about food and their relationship with food as well. So I think I'll start off by saying I'm a bit of an emotional eater. I will eat when I'm happy, I will eat when I'm sad, I will eat when I'm angry, and trust me, if there is a chocolate lint rabbit about, its ears are coming off. Who's got anything to say about their relationship with food? Who would like to go first? Jen?
Yeah, I'll jump in there. Yeah, similar to you. The chocolate bunny doesn't live long around my house. And it's a comfort thing, a stress thing, and it always has been. But nowadays, I also blame epigenetics because I have Irish heritage, and I'm told that there is a philosophy that epigenetics, because of the famine, the potato famine, I can use this as an excuse for my love of crisps. You see, we're frightened that we're not going to get enough potatoes, so we've got to keep eating them any opportunity we get. I also come from a family where eating is a big deal, and I'm the black sheep of the family because I'm the one with the disordered eating where I like eating and I can't get enough of it, where lots of other people in my family had the other, they went to the other end of the spectrum where they didn't want to eat and maybe got into a bit of a problem with that sometimes. But we're all good now. We're all good at the moment, I have to say.
If you don't mind, June, I'm just imagining you like a wee hamster there filling your cheeks with all these potatoes. Kind of makes me makes me think a little bit of Lord of the Rings. What's taters, precious? Boil them, mash them, put them in a stew, that kind of thing. But yeah, can I ask actually if it's all right? When did you become? When did you become vegan? Because your relationship with food, how did that change into how it was before?
I guess so. Food's always been a huge, big part of my life, to the point where I was a chef for a long time, and I was obsessed with food and with cooking. And also, then you get drawn into things like the ethics of food. Um, and I often play the vegan thing down because I don't always necessarily, I'm not very good at speaking out about things that I believe in, and I don't like confrontation, so I quite often play it down. But it is to do with mostly the ethics of food. I'm not a very good vegan because I do sneak in the odd egg and I do eat honey, but I always make sure it's good stuff and that it's from the best place possible. But yeah, I think the vegan is also maybe a continuation of the food obsession. I don't know. Hmm.
Yeah, I was just curious. I just wondered, and I wondered if that did have any sort of kind of throughway too, when you were saying there about the disordered eating and how it is something that's going through your family and you being that black sheep. Um, yeah, yeah. Um, and interestingly enough, I think that we can all recognise the type of eater that we are through even just chatting about it. I wonder if anybody else has anything anybody else wants to sort of call them out as what type of eater are you? What kind of eater would you say? How do you enjoy your food?
I have a very, very strange relationship with food. This for many, many years. I am I'm a vegetarian. I was bulimic for years, not for years, for 2 years. I was bulimic. So I think I made a conscious choice of not eating meat, because there is probably nothing worse than eating and then vomiting meat. I'm not anymore in this phase, but I have a very conflicted relationship with food. I am very controlled. I'm eating, yeah, I have a very, very strange relationship. So I have no chocolate at home. I have no biscuits. Only if people come and visit, I buy this stuff. I have a problem with food, if I'm honest. I don't like to admit it, but that's my deal.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that, Daniela. I know that we've spoken in the past, and I hope that this is okay to say. I know that we've spoken in the past about how sometimes grief can actually sort of spur those habits on, if it is that you have an appetite for eating a bit more when you're grieving, or eating a bit more when you're sad, and the emotional sort of effect that food can sometimes act as a bit of a cushion or a bit of a buffer, a bit of a comforter. And it can be really difficult to actually kind of call yourself out on it, because yeah, it's such a tricky topic, because everybody, we have to eat to survive, don't we?
Yeah, I know what you're speaking about. It's about my choice of marshmallows, and so I'm vegetarian. So finding marshmallows, I needed to go to Marks and Spencer's, and I bought 2 bags of marshmallows. I don't like marshmallows, to be honest, but somehow I ate them like nobody was. So I drove to Marks and Spencer's, and driving home, I had 2 bags of marshmallows, and I was sick after. So that's telling you about grief, about food, about not being able to stop even when you can't eat them anymore. So I'm an emotional eater. I have a problem with eating. I'm trying to do my best. I think that's just who I am. I know that most people who know me probably see this when they meet me. That I'm not because I'm slim, but because I'm very, very cautious about what I'm eating and when I'm eating.
I wonder if as well, though, the Swiss in you and all that chocolate, Daniela. Woof. Growing up, that must have been tough, you know. And then the Italian and the, oh my goodness, what right in the middle of Europe, and you've got all that fancy Dan food about you. It would be so difficult not to enjoy some chocolate and some finer things as well. But thank you for sharing that, and I hope that that was okay to share about the emotional eating part, because I can recognise and relate to that too, as a fellow recovering emotional eater. Would anybody else like to have a chat and have their say?
Yeah, if I could just come in, Michelle, I suppose when people were talking there, I'm looking back as to when I was very young, growing up. I would go to my grandparents, and they were a kind of war generation. When I look back, my grandfather was a strong socialist, but they would grow everything. They would grow and they would use everything. They would use eggshells as manure. They would have gooseberries, raspberries, strawberries, carrots, green beans, runner beans, and they would grow everything in the garden. They would make jam, marmalade, fresh soup. You would have a city bakery van would drive outside, fresh bacon. You would have a fish van as well. And it just seemed real good. And and people would go into each other's garden and help themselves, and that was okay. That was great. It was that kind of generation of the wartime generation. But I think it's changed now. I mean, you just go to your Lidl and it's like, but I kind of miss that, and maybe that's a kind of you hark back to that kind of fresh produce. Um, you know, actually working the soil, and actually there's something healthy about that, the relationship with the soil, the earth, tendering it. Like, I think we've lost that. I don't know where I'm going with this, but it just kind of came to my mind when folks were talking there.
I think that's a good point, David. That's changed our relationship with food, because in their days they knew where their food came from and it was of a very high quality. But now we don't often have the same quality, and a lot of people, children especially, don't even really understand where their food comes from. And the work in the soil and the growing your own food, producing your own food's also proven to be very therapeutic, and very good for you. Mm.
And I like that as well. There's also this sort of nostalgia with food, isn't there? We can all go back, and who loves nothing but their mummy's cooking when they're not feeling too well? I know for sure that if my mum was to rock up here and make me spaghetti bolognese, I would be absolutely over the moon. But it's kind of like what you're saying, David, going back to that kind of wartime generation, the nostalgia of that togetherness, community, connection, just what we kind of talk about, I guess, every time that we're on doing these podcasts. It's the togetherness of it all. It's the sort of sense of pride, I think, as well, that you have from making something. There's a few community gardens locally in Inverclyde, and they were giving out big barrels of potatoes. June, you'd have loved it the other week, and they were giving out barrels of potatoes. I can't even remember how many. If I remember in future episodes, then I'll put a wee comment in. But I can't remember how many buckets that they'd given out. But so many people took them because there was just this real interest in learning how to grow a veg of their own. And I think that there's something in that still. I think there's something really good in that. And when you were talking as well, it got me thinking a wee bit about the chocolate and palm oil just now. And I don't know, there's biscuits that aren't allowed to call themselves chocolate biscuits anymore. Who knew the Blue Riband would be blacklisted for being a biscuit? It's not a biscuit, it's not a chocolate biscuit. Because the lack of cocoa in this biscuit means that it can't call itself remember Blue Ribands growing up? They were one of my favourites, and they were thick with chocolate. And now looking at the back of it, it's like, I don't know how many percent, I'm not going to commit to a number, but there is a percentage in that says that this cannot be justified. The same with toffee crisp chocolate bars, chocolate biscuit bars, I don't know about the chocolate bar, and penguins. Would you ever have thought a penguin would be off the list? It's not even going to...
I was trying to think of what other one it was. Yes, a penguin. Can you believe it?
I mean, come on, I would pick up a penguin for your cup of tea and whatever else. You can't even call it a chocolate biscuit anymore. It's crying itself a liar because the lack of chocolate that it's got in it. But that's interesting because it does make me think of nostalgia as well in our relationship with food and nostalgia. We can all think of people who make just the most wonderful foods, or grannies and grandas gone back, who have passed, who just made the most wonderful, wonderful of things. And do you have anything? Do you have anything to add in for us?
Oh, yes. Where do I start, Michelle? Honestly, if I'm being honest, I would love to sit here and say, no, I'm great with food. And don't get me wrong, I love food. Like, I love it, and that is a problem. I'm not particularly overweight. You wouldn't look at me and think I'm really overweight, but my gosh, I love food. And the emotional eating, especially raising my own 3 children the last 14 years, just getting me through. Honestly, I will pick all day long. Chocolate will not survive very long in front of me. It's non-stop, like the junk food, and yeah, it's terrible. And then it's that whole cycle, isn't it, where you say, right, I'm stopping, I'm going to do better, and you really set your mind for it, and then something comes along, and yeah, before you know it, you're reaching for the Blue Ribands. Really, I mean, if someone has the answer, they can really like put a wee message down below and please let me know how to break the cycle, because I eat when I'm happy, I eat when I'm bored, I eat when I'm sad, I eat when I'm angry. It's just non-stop, honestly. But I also don't drink alcohol, so I don't know if that. I don't drink and I don't smoke, so I wonder if I make up for it with food and chocolate. Maybe I should start drinking.
Somebody's going to need to tell us what number the Blue Band chocolate comes in at, aren't they?
Michelle,
And-
I grew up in Blue Bands with my
So
gran.
did I.
Like, they were just so available.
I've not got the heart to tell my mum that Blue Band is not a chocolate biscuit anymore. But
No.
even as that, can I ask if you don't mind, are you the kind of, speaking to other mums, I don't have kids myself, but they have said in the past that whenever they've gone on to cook the kids' dinner, they might even put a wee extra something on from themselves if they're maybe putting on some nuggets or whatever, and think, oh, I'll have that when the dinner's gone out, or maybe even nick a few when the plates haven't cleared. Are you that kind of? Do you enjoy the leftover buffet?
I actually know that's not a massive problem for me. And you know, the whole clean your plate thing, finish what's on your plate. I don't have that as an issue. I actually never clean my plate, which is funny because I love food, but it's the picking in between the food. It's a grazing all day long on just absolute junk that I shouldn't be doing. And I'm eating it thinking, you shouldn't be eating this. But yeah, it could very well be boredom, or it could be any emotion at play. It really could. That's just triggering it. And yeah, and especially living in Glasgow, I think during winter as well, the weather's so bad. You're not out and about seeing friends as much, and the sunshine, you know, you're hibernating, and food is just, it's a comfort. Like, if we're being honest, it is a comfort, I think.
Yeah, I think I normally go. I know you don't like soup, Daniela. That's one of your worst things, isn't it? I am from the old school of it's winter time, get a pot of soup on the go. I'm also from a family of sharers
Especially
as
bread
well.
and butter.
Bread and butter, and it has to be thick, thick, thick.
Yeah.
And I'm also from that family of sharers. So if anybody's made a pot of soup, we're running at each other's houses, dropping off wee kind of jars and tubs of soup, heat left, right, and centre, because we know how good. I'm from a family where there's 3 chefs in it, so nobody gets away without passing about what their good food is. No, we've only really scratched the surface here, I think, because there's so many ways that you can take this conversation into food. There's so many avenues that we can go down, especially with disordered eating, especially with the sort of emotional eating and the and the boredom eating and that kind of thing. I guess a way to look at it is everybody is an emotional eater, because hunger is a part it's an emotion, isn't it? This idea of being hungry. So to some degree, we are all emotional eaters. And I think it's about being kind to yourself when you are noticing that maybe your inner chatter might be unkind, or it might be that you have noticed patterns in yourself, where you've been overeating through stress, through anxiety, through kind of trying to mask something, or if it is that you've stopped eating because of one of these as well. I think the important thing here is to be gentle with yourself, because we are all works in progress. I don't know if anybody has anything to say to finish off our episode just now, or if kindness is just where we sort of want to end it, because just to be gentle with yourself, and to, if you are needing any help or any conversations, then reach out, because yeah, we'll all know somebody who can help, or who we can signpost you in directions. So if this conversation has triggered or has stirred something within you to say, hold on, I wonder, please get in touch. You can private messages, and we would be happy to signpost you somewhere helpful. And will we say cheerio for now?
Bye.
Bye. Bye, everyone.
Bye. Bye bye.
Bye.